Hello and welcome to the LeBron James episode of the Hoop Theory Podcast, aka episode 61. My name is Logan Wortman, and as usual, I am joined by my ambitious co-host, Jacob Roth. Jacob, how does it feel to be on the LeBron James episode?
It feels pretty good. I think that this is we're coming off of one of the best sports weekends for me in a long time.
Oh, really?
Because we had Husker football got a win. Wasn't pretty, but we got one. There's a new number one in the world of collegiate volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska took down Wisconsin in 5 sets. My Patriots upset the Bills to get Belichick's 300th win. And the only thing that could have made this better is if we would have heard if Derek White got an extension. But it doesn't seem like he did, but it's not been shot down to the point where he hasn't yet. Because I just think he's going to play himself into more money, like pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to get it done, but it doesn't look like it did get done. But in Brad, we trust, you know? I've said
For
that
sure.
when he was coach. I have a T-shirt, and it rings even truer as basketball
GM.
president, GM Brad Stevens. So in Brad, we trust, but I'm doing good, feeling ambitious. Which game is this of LeBron's? Like, when did this happen?
2014 against the Charlotte Bobcats? Hornets? I think they were the Hornets at that point. 2014.
So it wasn't like some sort of like crazy, like important game where that's his only career. He's only I say only. I get it.
61 points is quite a bit.
That's a good number.
Yeah, he's also never been like the purest of bucket getters, which is insane that he's also like with that he's still the all-time league leader in points.
I feel like he's just like a wall that leans on you.
Yeah.
Like he's always good, like
very consistent and very
36
lots of
minutes
longevity.
of time equals 25 to 30 points, 35 points, whatever you want to say, depending on what mode LeBron is in. Constantly for like 70 games a year, just kind of like imposing presence.
Yep. He's literally averaged at least 25 points per game across 20 seasons in a row now.
That's wild. That is wild stuff.
Yep. If anybody doesn't know, that's definitely never been done before.
And I would wager never will be.
Yeah,
like obviously crazy things happen, but like the 20 years part, and maybe that'll become more and more common, guys playing in the NBA or just in sports in general for longer and longer.
Maybe we'll be immortal at some point. Who knows? You know,
I feel like that'll make the NBA not as fun.
Yeah, anti-aging.
If it just turns into like it's actually the same, it's probably 30 guys because you just turn into the equivalent of like all-time rosters because you can play forever and improve your game.
Yeah. That would be
that'll be like cool, but not really.
Yeah, it would be interesting. We definitely won't experience
we won't
that.
see that at all.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
my children's children might see that.
Yeah, we are definitely going to die someday.
But I guess if we think about it, planes from their invention to when they were dogfighting in World War I was like 12 years.
Oh, really?
Because it wasn't at 1903. This is all off the rip. This might be totally wrong numbers.
I mean,
I think planes were 1903, and World War I, like dogfights were like 1912, 1913.
Yeah,
so that's a decade. They went from like barely flying to like, let's take this propeller and time our machine gun to shoot in between the rotor blades so we don't shoot down our own propeller. Shout out to human ingenuity when it comes to warfare. And speaking of warfare, how do you feel? I'm just kidding. That was a joke. We're not going to talk about what's going on in the. Not going to dive into any kind of political discourse here on this beautiful Monday evening.
Yeah, we can steer clear of that for now.
Oh, this is the Monday before the season starts. For those listening later,
we also should mention that. Yep. So this is the last day before NBA basketball returns to our lives. The Nuggets are playing. Celtics, are they playing tomorrow?
They are on Wednesday.
No, okay.
I think they're taking on the Knicks on Wednesday.
Okay, that'll be a pretty good one. I'm guessing they play Philly pretty soon too at the beginning of the season.
I feel like we always start with Philly, so that's the only reason I really took note of like, oh, it's not Philly. This is weird.
Oh yeah. So there's only 2 games tomorrow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I felt. But you know what blew my mind? I saw ESPN had a graphic, and you know who the 4 people were on it? This is going to upset you.
For what? Did it include every team?
NBA tip-off. Nope. It was for tomorrow. NBA tip-off.
Yeah, so the 4 teams tomorrow. It was 1 person from each team, you're saying?
That's what you think.
Oh, so it wasn't?
Yes.
Was it the 3 Suns?
So, no, okay. It was... I want to say the Sun was...
Can you tell me the teams...
Okay. Well, no, then that ruins the exercise of why... Well, you'll know why you'll be mad. There wasn't a nugget.
Okay.
It was Steph, LeBron. I think the Sun was KD. And for some reason, in the background is like the biggest figure was Jason Tatum.
What?
For NBA tip-off.
What in the world? Did they just get it wrong? Did they think the Celtics and Lakers were playing?
I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe it's Mike Malone called in a favor and wanted some bulletin board material.
Maybe, honestly. I mean, but yeah, that seems a little crazy.
I will find the image.
That's a tradition. The NBA champs always play opening night, so that should be the last team that they forgot.
I will send this to you in 2 ways, so you can see it now, and so we can pop up the graphic in the episode as well. Because it's pretty much just like the 3 teams that are playing, and then not the Nuggets. And they put Jason Tatum on there instead. And it says NBA on TNT begins Tuesday. The other thing that's funny is the Celtics don't even play on TNT tomorrow.
On Wednesday?
On Wednesday, sorry. They play on ESPN.
Yeah.
So it just was like a whole level of doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that is wild. I mean, there's enough to be mad about with the just how you back when we were doing stuff.
We don't play the Sixers until November?
Oh, really?
November 8th. That seems like a travesty.
That's interesting. Usually,
we have Miami the next game.
Yeah, well, I guess we should probably get the rubber on the road for this episode and jump right into what we wanted to open the episode with. And now that we're almost 10 minutes in, and that is the City Edition jerseys. Like, I feel like we've been talking about jerseys way too much on this podcast. And I'm tired of going through and putting all of them up on screen. So let's just give the people a place where they can go find all of these if they care to see them. Which, do you have a site, I guess, where you've been looking at them?
I always go to basketballjerseyarchive.com.
Okay. Also, there is a website right now, sbnation.com. You may have heard of it. The name of the article is Every NBA City Edition Jersey in 2023-2024 Ranked by How Cool They Are. And it shows all of them in this article.
Are they all F tier?
No, there's no S tiers.
That's good. I think that's correct.
I haven't looked through all of these. So this is a good comment. The Jazz ones are actually awesome. I love them. So the team that right now I feel have the worst jerseys in basketball for like their current jerseys, the Jazz. These new ones are literally the ones that I found. I didn't know these were real, but like a year ago, I found these on 2K in the user uploaded library. And why did you leave?
Gosh dang it. I was on the wrong tab.
Oh, you closed the tab? Is that what you did?
I searched on the wrong tab, SB Nation. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. It's just sometimes, for some reason, when we're doing these on Riverside, when you leave, sometimes it'll actually in the recording, you'll leave before you actually did. So we'll like lose sometimes we lose some of what we thought was recorded for some reason.
The Celtics is a D tier? That's wild to me. It's not a good jersey, but the fact that they're like, oh yeah, This is wild, actually. This list is fraudulent.
Wait, so you're saying that the D tier, like they should be higher, Boston?
The fact that they put them on the same tier as the Chicago Bulls jersey.
But like, are you saying they should be higher or lower?
Yes, just like one higher, like a C tier.
I like Boston's jerseys a lot. Actually, I feel way differently about how like said earlier. I said even the best of these jerseys are actually terrible or mid at best. I take that back because there's actually some pretty good ones here.
No, this list is fraudulent. The Times New Roman Atlanta is a B tier jersey to this person.
I don't. I think I don't know, the ATL. It's not good. It should be a D at very best, honestly. But what he put in the F tier, I don't mind the Clippers jersey. I kind of like that.
It's like the cursive clips.
Yeah, I guess kind of cursive. I guess it's like slanted. Also, the Memphis one, I kind of want to see someone wearing it, but that's interesting to me. That concept, like the 3 lines to form ME and M each.
Oh, the Heat one sucks.
Yes, no, that's the one I feel like that's whoever made that. I don't believe they think it's good. You know, like there's no way.
For those, it just is the Heat in the standard script Heat with the little flame coming off the T like it's a lighter in red on a black jersey, and then the biggest word on the jersey. You'd think, oh, it's probably the word Heat or the last name of the player. Nope, culture.
It literally looks like a jersey in 2K that somebody made that I wouldn't even download. Like that, I would be like, no, it's
not worth using the data.
Yeah, and also it's like it reminds me of something that you'd see on Facebook, like on one of those really cheap bootleg ads, like people selling team paraphernalia that's not
real
from the team. It looks like something like that. The thing that I feel like they could have done. It's so easy to think of like if they want to incorporate culture, which I think is not a terrible idea. Like but the easy way to do that, just make a normal Heat jersey, and instead of where it says Heat, just make that say culture. You know what I mean? Like that would be way better.
I guess I just think that would be stupid.
Why?
I get the Heat culture is a cool deal, but I think
I'm not that in favor of doing that. But I'm saying if you want to do that,
if you have to do that, that's the best way to do something that I think is dumb
by far.
Yes. Speaking of things that are dumb, you know what my favorite basketball team is? The 5,280s.
Yeah, I'm
talking about the Nuggets jersey now.
Yeah.
So it's a black jersey with like this thing they've been doing, which I think is good. A lot of their new jerseys have this wraparound mountain that like wraps in a colored beam around the whole jersey. Mm-hmm. And it's like ever so slightly blue that you can barely even tell it's there. And then and the yellow and the Nuggets yellow, 5280, the elevation of
a mile.
The city of Denver of a mile.
Yeah. Which that's been the same thing that they've had in like the middle of the free throw lane for a while.
And I don't hate the number thing. It's just the fact that it doesn't say Nuggets. Oh, sorry. I apologize. I see it now. It does say Denver Nuggets.
Above the tag.
Very small above the tag.
I just noticed that too. I didn't see that before.
I didn't think it said Nuggets at all. Or like anything.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Cleveland doesn't say Cleveland, it just says the land. But that like makes sense. I get that more.
Yeah. The thing I'll say about the Nuggets jersey, I don't like it at all. But I also, it's not something that it doesn't make me mad. It's not one that I feel strongly about at all. I'm not like, oh, that makes me angry, or that is just the most awful jersey I've ever seen. You know?
This is proof of the point that I've made when we did our all-time jersey things during our preview of overs and unders.
Yeah.
Just do it every other year. Half the teams, and it doesn't have to be a perfect half, just you come out with a different one, and then the good ones get highlighted for 2 years.
Yeah. That I agree that will help.
Or like even if the NBA was like, for merchandising reasons, we need you to come out with a new one every 3 years at the minimum. What's wrong with that? And some teams can do it every year if they want, if Nike draws up something of decent value. But like the New York jersey, the New York Knicks jersey, is just like someone forgot to put on 3D glasses. and they just put like an orange New York and then a white New York. Like
I actually kind of dig that one. That one's kind of sick. Not gonna lie. That's like to me. That's not like it's like more of a what's that called? Like a man. I can't think of the word. Like a something that is
abstract.
No. Like it's when something you don't think is like like the most high level of art, but you still enjoy it. There's a word for it. I just can't think of it. But anyways, like I really like these jerseys.
I like the rest of the jersey a lot.
Yeah,
that New York I think is dumb.
I can see why you think it's dumb, but to me, it's just kind of like a vibe. I don't know why,
that's totally fine.
It's like in a charming way. It's like a early internet, early computer, like MS Paint type of graphic design. You know what I mean?
I am waiting though for that NBA Paints guy to get big enough that the NBA is going to do like a legitimate, like they'll use he'll make a jersey for every team, and it won't be worn on the court, but they'll sell it at an NBA store. Like I'm just waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, that would be cool, honestly.
Would it?
It would be cool.
It would be cool for like the story, but I feel like I guess as long as they don't wear them, because some of them are hilarious. Just because he's like Heat, what a dumb logo. Anyway, NBA Paints. If people didn't know what I was referring to on, I think everything. He's NBA Paints everywhere.
Yeah,
I think. I don't know if it's a dude. I've always assumed shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
they do funny work. So this is on SBNation.com, and it's like one of the top stories. City Edition's ranking them by like how cool they are, and that's why we're just like looking at these as we roll through. If people are trying to, because Logan doesn't want to have to go find all of them, which totally makes sense.
Yeah. Looking at this list, though, I feel a lot differently than I felt heading into this episode, because all the ones I've seen pictures of have been the awful ones, which there are a lot of awful ones. And the thing that I wanted to say that, your whole thing is you think the solution is do it every other year. I think that probably would help a lot. But I just think that's even the fact that they have to do one every year should not be an excuse for some of these, like the Heat Culture jersey. That should never be a jersey. Like maybe on the drawing board, sure, it could make it that far. But there's no way this should ever be a design that's landed upon for a season. Like it's just, there's no excuse for it.
I think the best jersey is San Antonio's.
The best?
It is up there. For out of all these, Cleveland's is hard to beat. Utah's is good. I like San Antonio so much for some reason. I don't know why. It just is appealing to look at. Like that color of blue that you find infatuating.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this font for the San Antonio jersey.
Of the number?
Of both. The lettering.
I wish the number.
I wish their last name was the same font as San Antonio on the front. But I think the NBA has rules about the name, doesn't it?
I have no idea. They probably do. But that would be weird, though, I feel like.
The last name font on almost every jersey is almost the same, just like spaced and angled differently.
Yeah. So I think they're okay. Yeah, the Jazz one. I started going into that, and then left the call. Yeah. So this Jazz jersey is the jersey that I found in 2K in the user created section when I rebranded the Jazz, because how their current jerseys are just god awful.
So you immediately were like, I need to get rid of this.
Yeah. So I downloaded. I downloaded a new team branding thing, and that was the jersey set that I got. It was like some white versions of those purple ones, and then a black alternate. But I just love that. That's so cool. I didn't even know that was like a concept.
What's crazy?
It must have been a Nike concept, unless they stole it from some like online creator.
That's what I was gonna say. Because a lot of these feel like they were made in 2K.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
What if they just are? Some dude at Nike is just scrolling through 2K, but that's pretty good. That should go on the board.
I think some of the concepts are kind of brought back to life from something that used to be like
Yes.
the Phoenix ones, the El Valley ones, or El, however you pronounce that in Spanish. I think that was like a concept they had back in like 2012 or something like that.
When they did like the Spanish night jerseys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
no, and some of them are, but then there's just some that I'm like, I like Houston's. Houston's are fine. It says H Town. It's got cursive on it. I'm fine with. But then there's like Atlanta's where I'm like, the colors I don't get. It's like cerulean blue and eggshell yellow.
I love the colors for just in general, but like for Atlanta, it doesn't make sense. Also, that I don't like the font for the ATL.
No, it's actually Times New Roman. Someone went and looked. It's like they did the pixel checking. It is legitimately Times New Roman bold.
Yeah, it's interesting.
In all lowercase letters.
Yeah, it's just not a great look. Also, like in general, I like the names to be on the top, on the back, just in general. If it's on the bottom, it's kind of like automatic points deducted.
For you.
Yeah. But I like the Buzz City Charlotte ones. Those are really good.
Fine.
I actually love the color of those ones. The Kings ones I like because it's like just like similar to modern ones, but it's mixed with like the Cincinnati or
old
color scheme. Yeah, wherever they were when they had that. I like the Detroit ones.
They're fine.
Yeah.
Minnesota, good ones.
These are all ones that, and the San Antonio ones I feel like are good. Cleveland, good. So there's a lot more ones that I would say are good. Like I'm fine with those as like a H-Town ones are meh. Like they're not that good. Minnesota ones are a little bit above meh to me.
I think the H-Town ones are like, because those are like Houston, the town of Houston's colors. The city of Houston.
Is that like an official thing? They have their own colors?
It's like, I think it's the flag. Well, most cities have a flag.
Oh, a flag. I like the color of the flag. Okay, that makes sense.
Because Chicago's the one that had, like, most notably will throw their flag onto jerseys for no reason.
Oh, and that's the city of Chicago's flag?
The city of Chicago's flag is like the baby blue with like the red stars in the middle.
Huh. I have no idea what the city of Omaha or Lincoln's flags are. I've never even seen them, I don't think. I might have seen the Omaha one, actually, now that I'm looking at it.
Lincoln's is
I've definitely seen the Lincoln one.
Lincoln's is like abstract art of the capital.
It's new, isn't it?
January 24th of 2022.
Yeah.
So pretty new.
I feel really like that.
That's a nice flag. It's distinguishable from a distance.
I've definitely seen it, but I thought it was from like a video game or something in my memory.
It also feels like New Mexico a little bit. Got a little bit of New Mexico vibe.
Oh, really? I think I link it more towards. I think there's a flag in Skyrim like that for one of the cities in Skyrim. It's pretty similar.
No, not Skyrim. Huh?
What do you mean?
I'm like racking my brain and I'm not getting anything.
What are you talking about?
Like city flags in Skyrim?
Yeah, like. And it also might not even be in the base game. I think it's probably like a mod, like some kind of when you get mods, like cities updated on mods, like to get like more decorations and stuff. Like they add like banners and flags and stuff. Like Winterhold is the
bear.
Yeah, but that's not a flag. That's like a coat of arms. I'm talking about like
I always thought that their flags were like pretty much just their coat of arms on a background.
Yeah, I'm talking about something else. And
okay.
This might be, and also the flag might have just been for the College of Winterhold specifically.
Okay.
Maybe if you look that up.
No, I haven't looked. I'm just thinking.
College of Winterhold.
Because
flag.
It's like I just remember the colors and then like roughly what it is. Because like White Run's yellow with a horse.
White Run, yeah. And
then the Imperial Solitude is a red wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a wolf.
Yeah, okay. I found this College of Winterhold class of 4E 201. It's a sticker. This is the only place I've been able to find that symbol, though. So this must have been a mod that I had at one point.
And that's fine. My brain you said Skyrim, so my brain just started like digging, and I was like, I'm not pulling anything.
Yeah. Trying to finish off this jersey talk, though. I do want to at least give a tad bit of a thought on each one. Rip City ones, I like. Those ones are interesting. It's like checkered, or what is that? I can't see it very up close. Do you see it? It's like, that's like lumberjack.
Yep, no, I like that. It's flannel. Sorry, I didn't realize
flannel. There we go. Flannel. That's the word for it.
I am a big fan of that little accent that is there.
Yeah, the Lakers ones I don't love at all.
It's
Mavs
fine.
Are I would put the Lakers in like the D tier for me.
Yep.
Mavs close to D tier, but for different reasons. Like it's just boring. It's not like an eyesore. Like the Lakers is a tad bit of an eyesore. Mavs is
a lot
just
of teams went black this year. A lot of teams leaned into the black.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
that's
dark gray.
San Francisco or the Warriors ones are okay. I'm sure that curvature of the font has something to do with something like a hill or I don't know.
A whale's tail.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the exact curvature is like supposed to mimic like a landmark or something. Maybe I don't know. Does the Golden Gate Bridge curve at all?
Nope, it's
just a straight from a bird's eye view.
Yeah, from the top for sure.
Okay. Indies I don't like at all. Like that's like something that I feel like is fine for like an AAU tournament.
It feels like they did a partnership with Subway Surfers. The NBA did, and that was the Indianapolis jersey.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. Milwaukee's are actually kind of cool, but again, I'm usually against the blue with Milwaukee. If that was just like green instead, the blue
they're dark green.
Yeah, the dark green.
Okay,
I would
like
or
Milwaukee
black.
Green. I don't know why I called it dark green.
Yeah, or black even.
But I don't think they can beat their Fear the Deer black jersey, so I'm good with them getting a new good green jersey.
Yeah, either one, just not blue to me. Like I feel like that's how.
I don't hate it actually.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's a good-looking jersey. I just, in general, would like the Bucks not to be blue, because why did they start becoming blue?
They've always had a little twinge of blue since they did the rebrand.
Yeah, I know. Like since they did the rebrand, but why? Like why is there's just like?
Well, why did they drop purple?
Yeah, I guess. And then OKCs are okay. I think what would make them infinitely better is just having the name on the top and on the back.
I also think that they're kind of a travesty. These are bad.
Oh, you do think
these are like Heat mashup bad. I hate them. Where they have like the photographs of old OKC jerseys like scissored together and then
is that
layered.
What that is?
Yeah, it's not like a design. It's like old OKC jerseys.
Okay,
from,
I
like,
don't. Yeah,
pictures.
now that I can actually kind of see that, I don't like that. I would like it better if it was just kind of like a pattern of like
a wavy, I don't know, lightning bolty-ish soft pattern.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, but no, it's like a pictures.
Or like shards is kind of what I thought it was at first.
That's a better
like
word
broken
than
shards.
bolty.
Like it's almost like cracked glass or something like that. Chicago, I hate. I don't like I like the 76ers, the jersey numbers. Those look kind of interesting.
Those are dope. Stick to just one word or two. City of Brotherly Love on the front of a jersey. Don't need it. Yeah. I'm good. I get it. It's Philadelphia's thing.
Just stick to Philly or Phila.
Or you could just put Brotherly Love. You don't need cursive city. It's whatever. It's fine. Their number makes up for it. This is like a C tier jersey just because of their number.
Yeah. New Orleans could have been a lot better, but it's not the worst thing ever, I guess. It's like similar as the Dallas one to me. It's like
why can they use green?
They can't. I just kind of skip. There's a few of these teams that are using off
just weird colors. Yeah. Oh, speaking of weird colors, what in the Lord was the District of Columbia thinking? This feels like it is an intro for a Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channel, and I'm looking at it as a jersey. This is wild.
I agree.
There is 5 colors on this jersey.
It also looks kind of awesome. I will give it that. It does look it definitely looks sick. I would say. Detach yourself, kind of like with how I did with the Milwaukee ones. Detach yourself from what team is wearing them, and you just saw a team wearing these jerseys. I don't have a problem
with teams like doing color things if it like means something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just feel like teams
I thought their cherry blossom jerseys were fine. They were dumb. I didn't like them. I wouldn't have bought one.
Yeah,
but like,
we feel the same about that.
But it like made sense, the connection they made to the city. Like I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Washington DC has a bunch of cherry blossoms, and that's like okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I just don't. Also, I think these would be better if they just put the district.
Instead of Columbia under it?
Yeah.
You don't like that?
We don't need as many words.
It's really tiny, though.
That's what I mean. To the point where it's like almost not even there.
Yeah, but so it's like a little accent piece to the...
I guess.
Like it. I just feel like, to me, I don't even... most of the time, I don't want to know the reason behind the jerseys. That's how I am with like most things. I feel like it just... With art. Like, yeah. I don't want to know what all went into the thought of it, because then I don't know. I just like the vibe of a thing.
I can't get over the 5 colors: dark gray, light gray, red, orange, teal.
It just works.
It's not bad. I would not want to own it.
That's fair.
I also would like to know why that the slant is diagonal and why it's there.
I like that too, honestly.
It just feels random.
Yeah.
Does the do they call their subway system the Red Line? Is that DC?
I have no idea. But honestly,
just the Metro.
It's just like if this was more of, maybe if this was a Portland jersey, because of like the, how they have, that's part of their branding.
Red Line
slash.
Chicago, sorry.
Oh, but the that slash that Portland has in their branding of jerseys. Yep. If this was a Portland jersey, I feel like it would make more sense. But
Portland already stole jerseys from Charlotte. So to complete the trifecta, are we going to get a Washington themed or Charlotte jersey?
A Charlotte jersey, yeah, Washington themed Charlotte jersey, yeah. That would be the way to complete the triangle.
It's just like a Hornet wearing an Uncle Sam hat with like sparklers.
Mm-hmm. Toronto ones are fine.
Just a lot of a color that should be an accent, in my opinion.
Yeah. New York, I actually really like. These might be like top 3 for me.
They're honestly.
Again, I'm trying to think of that word, but I can't think of it. And then the novelty. There we go. Novelty. Like that is it's like something that is
new.
No, something that's a novelty to me, at least. I guess I don't know I don't know the exact definition. I just feel like the way it's used sometimes is to mean like it's not like the pinnacle of art necessarily. I'm not defending it as like an objective pick, but like something about it I just enjoy. I don't know if that is just completely
the quality of being new, original, or unusual.
Unusual, yeah.
Denoting something intended to be amusing as a result of its new or unusual quality, I think, is the closest definition to what you're trying to portray.
Yeah. So that is a okay word for what I mean. But Boston's I actually really like too. They're up there for me as well. They're don't okay. Care. They might be some of my favorite Boston jerseys, honestly.
No, they're like a good Boston jersey.
I love the sides.
I think if they were white, I'd feel better.
Instead of the cream?
Instead of cream. I'll probably get one. Like, I'll probably get my Porzingis jersey will probably be the City Edition, if I had to guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I just love the thing I love most about it, honestly, is the font on the front. I just like that.
Yeah. And I can't for the life of me, because I know that font is from somewhere. I think it was like warm-ups of some era used that Boston font.
Yeah.
With like the 2-layered, and it looks like it's a 3D thing, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
Oh, this
I'm not
person
sure where it's
was
from.
complaining because they look like they're a Milwaukee Bucks jersey.
Oh,
Was the person that wrote this article's complaint.
Yeah, I honestly don't really agree too much. I mean, I guess I could see how
They're a green team.
Boston has those same colors, so
Yeah.
But then Clippers, I really like the Clippers ones. I don't know why he ranks them so low. The Nuggets ones are lower half for sure in this because there's actually quite a few of these that I like.
And Nuggets, you said you're just fine with?
I would say I'm below fine with, like, I don't like them at all. There's nothing that I'm like, oh.
Like you hope they wear them once and then never wear them again?
I honestly would rather they never wear them. But
well, they have to.
So. Yeah, but it's just like, it's not a jersey that when I see it, I'm like, it's not like the red one where I'm like, you guys, you need to take those off right now and put on a different jersey. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they're better than the red ones to me. The Heat Culture ones,
you've already talked about,
should go in the garbage. The Nets ones, I don't really like that much.
The way you feel about the Nets is the one I feel about the Knicks. Reverse. The way you feel about the Knicks is the way I feel about the Nets.
Yeah, I just don't like the letters. The letters are just, they look like pillows.
I like that, actually. The only part I don't like is the back. I wish that the loudness of the weird random shapes was equal on the front as it is the back. The back feels a lot more quote unquote busy than the front does.
I'd agree. Especially behind what you're looking at, like the letters. And then Memphis ones, I feel like could have been done a lot better, but I like the idea. With the I haven't gotten your opinion on this yet. I feel like every time I've talked about it, you've gone completely quiet.
Well, I just don't know why. It's fine.
I just like the idea of, like, when you look at it, you see, at least I do. I see mem, like right away, MEM. And the fact that you can do that with just 3 lines, like 3 lines vertical and then 3 lines horizontal and then 3 lines vertical, is just interesting. And I feel like there's a lot of ways you could make that work. And I feel like they did one of the most boring ways to do it. You know what I mean? So not great execution, but I like the idea. And then Orlando, this is different than the one that was leaked. And the one that was leaked was awesome, I thought.
And this one is just fine.
Yeah, this one's, I'd say fine. It feels more like a Dallas Cowboys basketball jersey, than a Orlando jersey. But
or the Spurs. I could see the Spurs wearing this without the blue.
Mm-hmm. If it was just gray and black. Yeah. But yeah, so that is all of the jerseys. We've already said where to find them. So, yeah, without further ado, though, let's get into the main stuff of this episode, which is the awards, odds for this upcoming season. And starting off with, I guess, should we start with MVP, the Michael Jordan Trophy?
Sure.
We'll start off with MVP. We've already kind of talked about it with the GM survey. But Nikola Jokic is the favorite, but it's not as heavy as you would think. He's plus 430. But he is the favorite. And then Luka Doncic is in second at plus 550. Giannis in third, plus 600. And then it's Tatum at 750. Joel at 850. And then Steph at 1400.
I'm fine with that, actually. I feel like the value would be whatever Steph and LeBron are at. Because, like, if LeBron has, like, a moderately good year, and he's, like, nearing the end, I could see them being like, oh, that's a good story. But it should be Jokic's, because it'll be like a revenge tour in terms of voters refixing what they did last year.
Yeah. LeBron is crazy low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th. Plus 5,000.
Yeah, that's value right there.
Yeah.
It's probably not likely, but if you're to throw $10 and be like, I don't really care, turning $10 into that'd be what? 500?
Yeah.
That seems worth it.
But the people he's below is interesting. He's right below De'Aaron Fox, Dame Lillard, Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell,
He's below. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Anthony Davis, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's fine.
Devin Booker makes sense. Kevin Durant is iffy.
Wild-ish. Fine, but wild. The fact that he's not right there. They should all be, like, what are the odds of those guys?
KD is plus 1,900. So he's a lot more likely to win MVP, according to the odds. Yeah.
What is Donovan Mitchell?
3,000.
Okay, whatever. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's insanity. Mm-hmm. More because think math-wise. The Cavs are not going to be a top 2 team in their conference.
They could be. That's not unthinkable at all.
It's likelihood of the Lakers being the 2 seed or the 1 seed compared to the Cavaliers doing it.
It's somewhat close. I would lean Lakers.
The Lakers a 2 seed?
Yeah. The Lakers they're not like a regular season team, really. You know, Cleveland is like you expect them to have a better regular season than playoffs. Lakers is the opposite.
I would feel a lot more confident in the Lakers ending up a 1 or a 2 seed than the Cavs.
I don't think that's crazy to lean them, but like to say that it's not close, I think is a little crazy.
And that's fine. Then I'll be crazy.
Because, I mean, the Cavs were the number 1 seed for a lot of last year in the East.
Mm-hmm. Last year.
Yeah.
Where the entire East has gotten better.
And they have gotten better.
Marginally.
And their their core is very young. So they're just I'm not saying they will be better.
I think Cavs are not as good as last year.
I just don't see why you can how you can say that how would it be surprising if Evan Mobley takes a step, Darius Garland takes another step, Donovan Mitchell stays Donovan Mitchell?
If multiple people take steps, yes.
Is a 22-year-old or whatever Darius Garland is, and then a 21-year-old Evan Mobley not?
Evan Mobley I get, and Darius, I guess those are 2 guys that make sense, but I don't like Donovan Mitchell. If people haven't figured that out, I just don't. I actively avoid him as a basketball player in fantasy, just about everything. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't make sense to me sometimes when he turns into a not so great basketball player is in the most inopportune moments possible.
But he's also had in like the biggest moments, he's had some like crazy
great games
performances. Yeah,
there's like no in the middle. He never just has an okay night.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some flaws with him that, like, back in the day, I used to lean him over Booker, but that's not even a contest to me anymore.
Yeah, and I don't think it should be, probably.
Yeah.
It's Donovan Mitchell, for sure. I'm just kidding. But that's great, but, like, plus 2,000 difference in Donovan Mitchell
to LeBron, yeah.
To LeBron? Like, who's the other name that you said? Oh, what's De'Aaron Fox at?
Plus 4,000.
Okay.
I don't hate that. That's one of the names up here that makes more sense to me. Dame makes no sense.
Yeah.
At all. How would Damian Lillard win the MVP when he's on the same team as Giannis? Like, can you foresee that happening at all? Where we're like...
Unless Giannis doesn't play.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, look up at the end of the season and we're like, oh, yeah, you know who the best player on the Bucks has been this year? Is Damian Lillard.
That's a possibility, but I think it'd be because of how they're used. Because, like, I think there's a world where they try some things and then they realize just running the offense through Dame and letting Giannis just be Giannis is, like, what they result. But
does that make Giannis worse?
No, it doesn't make him a worse player, but in terms of optics.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? In terms of, like, actual knowledge, like, oh, Giannis is still getting 28 points a game.
And he's, like, the backbone of why it works the way it works.
And he's just, like, picking up scraps when he can. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, that's insane. But just looking at it, it might not look that stats. Not watching games, obviously. Because watching games, you'd be like, oh, yeah, no, Giannis is an animal. Because he is. But, yeah. I am that LeBron one being low seems crazy. That's...
Yeah, also Jamal Murray should not be higher than Victor Wembanyama. I don't think Victor Wembanyama should be super high, but, like... Just that doesn't make any sense to me.
It's like the same. If you're not the best player in your team definitively,
yeah.
Like if it's close, still no.
Yeah.
But if it's like not a definitive, I am the best player.
The only one that could go either way, there's a couple that maybe could go either way.
Lakers?
And that's Lakers and Suns, Durant and Booker.
Because you have two guys that are in the top 10, top 15.
Yeah. And then the next one after that, without thinking about it too hard, would probably be the Sixers if James Harden was not in the situation that he is in right now.
Yeah. And then next after that would be probably Nuggets and Celtics would be on like the same next tier of like their second guy and their first guy are just too far apart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who else would be up there? Kings is another one.
I was going to say Kings or Pelicans.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's just...
all of those things. None of those things are going to happen.
Jokic is going to be the MVP.
I feel like he probably will be. If Luka is the MVP, the Mavs have to have a way better season than I think they're going to have. Giannis probably won't win MVP, but he's definitely could. I think Tatum, honestly, should be the second highest odds.
Just because of the situation, I agree.
Yeah.
Because there's a world where the Celtics get the 1 seed like by a couple of games comfortably, and he's just the best player.
And you know what? I also think that SGA borderline could be third.
Yes.
Like he could be the third most likely to me because just think about if the Thunder are like the 2 seed.
Oh, I was going to say the 3 or 4 seed. It's because SGA is cooking with some crazy sauce.
Yeah.
If SGA turns into like a 32% 3-point shooter, it's over. He won't do that this year, I don't think, but he might already be there. But
I think he is. He's had a season where he shot over 40, but that was an outlier. He just doesn't shoot very many of them. He's kind of like
high volume 34. Anyway,
he's actually gone down over the years too. He takes less of them now.
Yeah, because he just has turned into a different.
Yeah, last year
he's like reverse Ray Allen.
Last year he didn't even take one a game. Or no, never mind. That's made attempts 2.5. But that's also he's the leading shot taker on their team by a lot. So, but yeah, he takes 20 shots a game, over 20. So only 2.5 of those are 3-pointers
from 3-point land.
And he shot 34.5% last year, so not bad. But definitely not a guy that you need to go over on screens. You can definitely go under on screens with SGA, and it's not going to punish you too much.
Who else is somebody else? Like I feel like those are the 3 big ones.
I'd say Luka and Giannis are probably mainly Luka is probably in the same ballpark as SGA, but I would lean SGA though. I feel like just
because of what we've seen Luka do the past couple of Luka's team does not feel like they're doing this like the Thunder do. You know what I mean? Like the Thunder feel like
slanted up in an upward trajectory.
Yeah. So the Thunder feel like they're in a sharp upward direction where in 2 years the Thunder could be the best team in basketball.
Yeah.
Or in the argument for. And the Mavericks are they have to do a lot of things to even be in an upward direction.
Yeah.
To get back on track, as you said. So I think that's just a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In my mind, I could imagine the Thunder being at the top of the standings way more easily than I can imagine the Mavericks being at the top of the standings.
Yeah.
To be honest. And that's pretty much the only reason why
I don't think there's a world the Mavericks end up there. And there is a world where the Thunder do.
Yeah. I guess I wouldn't disqualify it completely, but I would be pretty surprised if
it is not a 0% chance, but it's like being the 14th team in the lottery and getting the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
It's just not feeling great.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I think both of our picks would be Jokic, obviously, for MVP. And yeah, I think we've done enough on that. But yeah, I guess we should both give picks, who we think will be MVP. So for each of these awards, and both of ours will be Jokic.
Jason Tatum.
Or you're going to go Jason Tatum?
I feel like, yes, I like Jason Tatum, but a value pick, money, betting, LeBron. But I think it's going to be Jokic. But I want to say Tatum, so I'm going to.
Tatum's pretty good odds too, because he's 4th.
Because he's a lot more likely than LeBron is
Yeah.
For a good reason. I like Tatum to do it, and I think that because there was 2 months there where he was the MVP if the season ended, before Jokic really went Terminator mode.
Yeah, before Jokic.
Yeah, I feel like Tatum might have been actually been the MVP if the season ended.
Yeah, he was definitely at the top of all the ladders. And yeah, he's a plus 750, so it'd be decent return.
But yeah, that's my MVP.
Yeah, and also while we're here, Jamal Murray also should not be way higher than Tyrese Halliburton. That doesn't make any sense to me. Just if you're the best player on your team, you should probably be above anybody who's not the best player on their team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that. On to the next award, which is the Wilt Chamberlain Trophy, the Rookie of the Year. And this is actually negative odds we have here at the top. So that which means it's more likely to be him than the field.
No, if you spend $10, you won't get $10 over $10 back. It's not 1-to-1. It's what's his odds?
Minus 145.
Oh, so of course it's not a nice number.
Yeah.
690.
So that's how much you would win.
You would win 690, so your $10 would turn into 1690. But that's not a valid, important detail.
Yeah.
This is disrespectful.
To have him as negative odds?
Wemby is going to get third place in Rookie of the Year voting.
Are you saying that should be the odds?
No, this is what I feel. The odds definitely should be Wemby.
Okay.
I say Chet. I get why people say Scoot and then Chet. I get that. That should be the order.
But Chet is second. I don't know if
he is second. Okay, yeah. Good, sweet, awesome.
That happened after the Thunder and Spurs game.
Oh,
right after that game is when Chet became second. A lot of places.
I think that people are going to sleep on the value a year of just being a part of an NBA team has, even if you're not doing the on the court stuff because you can't physically.
Yeah.
But I am all in on the Chet Holmgren winner of the Wilt Chamberlain Award. Mm-hmm. And Scoot's second and Wemby gets third.
Yeah. And then yes, Chet is plus 380, Scoot is plus 500, and then it drops off a absolute cliff.
I think is correct.
Yeah, to Brandon Miller at fourth, which is a plus 4,200. And then Amen Thompson is plus 5,000. Cam Whitmore, for some reason, is seventh, or whatever this number is, sixth, at plus 5,000, tied with Amen Thompson. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't get that either.
And then Keontae George is plus 6,000. Bilal Coulibaly is plus 7,500.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Asar Thompson, for some reason, is a lot lower.
That much lower?
Amen.
Well, situation, I kind of get it a little bit. But
yeah. And then Sasha Vezenkov is probably the last guy I'll mention at plus 7,500. Actually, Julian Strother he's quite a bit lower. I scrolled down to find him, but he's plus 11,000.
I think that he will be if there was an award for most value added by a rookie, in terms of for their team, did they do
their job?
Their job better than everyone else?
Yeah.
That could be Julian, for sure, Julian Strother.
The way, honestly, why I feel so good about this Nugget season is because I honestly feel like all three of the rookies, I don't think all three of them will play because there's just not enough spots for them. But if any of the three of them had to be in the rotation, I feel good about them popping off and playing really well.
Well, I think it's because they did the smart thing and they didn't get young guys. They went and got guys that
really
were
old.
In college for 4 years, or maybe even 5. Some of them, I'm not positive.
Hunter Tyson was a 5th year, yeah.
Yeah, Calvin Booth was okay, we have a team. We just need to supplement. We don't need to add. That's the same thing, but we don't need to give ourselves starter minutes for a developmental player because we have a core that can win a lot in the next 4 years if we just give just supplemental Band-Aid type of pieces. So they just went out and found 3 of them, with the headlining, I think, probably being Julian Strawther, being like a guy that they could just be like, go play.
And that shifted around a lot. So like on draft night, the one that a lot of people were excited about was, I mean, everybody had their own favorite, but Hunter Tyson was like the least relevant out of the 3. It was mainly Jalen Pickett and Julian Strawther. And then in the summer league, Hunter Tyson was balling, and and the other guys were fine. Julian Strawther shot like not well at all in summer league. And that was like his main thing coming in, was he was going to be a shooter. So everybody was really excited about Hunter Tyson. And then we get to the preseason. Hunter Tyson hasn't played much, and even when he did, he didn't shoot very well. And Julian Strawther has been on absolute fire and has not stopped. Like, it's been crazy.
See, I've always liked Julian's, as a person outside looking in, what the Nuggets do, and I feel like that just makes sense.
Yeah,
just what Julian Strawther will go do. It's just like,
yeah. I mean, they're all shooters, but he has like deep range.
No, but you're just gonna randomly throw one guy on the court with Jokic, the guy that can hit it from mid court if he's open enough.
Yeah, and he can handle the ball a little bit. He can play a 2-man game with Jokic really easily. And
that's and it's again not the guy that's replacing Jamal Murray. He's just there when Jamal Murray is tired or is taking a game off.
Think of
when
him
you're taking a game off as a starter for another NBA team, you're doing something correct. Shout out to Calvin Booth.
Think of him more like Kevin Huerter. I feel like Julian Strawther is similar to a Kevin Huerter, who can handle a bit, be like a secondary ball handler, but has deep range, can shoot. I think Strawther has even deeper range than Kevin Huerter, I'm going to say. And then also, Julian Strawther has one of the best floater games I've ever seen outside of Jokic. And
then put him on the court with the greatest floor raiser in the history of the NBA. And I feel like, that's a guy that will give you a lot of value.
Yeah.
But will not be a Rookie of the Year candidate at all.
Yeah, probably not. But in the preseason, he's been, I don't know how much this means because it's preseason, but he's been guarding pretty well too. That was the biggest question mark with him, will he hold up on the defensive end in the NBA? And he's looked pretty good so far.
Coach Michael Malone will bully people into playing defense.
He's got good size. He's 6'7", so I'm liking that. But my pick for Rookie of the Year is gonna my take on it is I feel like Chet is the third most likely because he's just a lot farther down in the pecking order. He's
not the guy. Yeah.
Realistically, I'm not saying this is the most likely outcome, but it's definitely would not surprise me at all for him to be the fourth guy behind Shea, Giddey, and Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
So if that, but the thing is, I feel like Chet, he's already talked about this. I think he was talking to Kevin O'Connor, maybe somebody from the Ringer. He had an interview with him. I think it was Waz actually, Wozny Lambre. But he said that Chet is excited about just completely buying into his role this year. He's not looking to be a rookie who gets handed the keys to the offense or whatever. He's just going to go out there and fill whatever role Mark Daigneault has for him. Which is going to be fun to see, So he could be pretty high up there if the voters are really bought into the different type of rookie role, that doesn't usually get the Rookie of the Year. But
I just let's say that all of the Thunder's numbers look similar to what they did last year, but then they are shocking people and they're a 2 or a 3 seed. It will be the X factor of Chet Holmgren, and he will get. I'm confident.
Yeah.
I'm really high on OKC, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
Really high on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the fact that they had a good team, and then they were just bad enough to be let's get the number 2 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
Just for fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just for fun, but it's it just, I think, is going to work out for them probably.
Mm-hmm.
I would be shocked if they are not competing in deep playoff runs as early as next year. Maybe this year. But, yeah.
We could see it happen. I wouldn't be super surprised, but yeah. Well, let's see him get there first, get into the postseason before we go too crazy with it. But
that's true.
I'll probably lean Victor Wembanyama, though, as number 1. Scoot at number 2. Brandon Miller, I could see him having a really good year.
Not with LaMelo back. I don't think he will be enough of a. He'll be in the same situation as Chet, except the team will be way worse.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Miller could be the second option, though. I'm not saying that he will be, but he could be. And especially if like LaMelo missed a lot of games or something, Brandon Miller has a bigger spotlight. I'm just trying to make the case that I don't feel like is a good case, but it could be. Amen Thompson, I don't feel like will happen either. Similar thing because there's just a lot of young guys on the Rockets
that need to take shots.
Yeah,
one less though.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so that will be it for the Wilt Chamberlain Award. I picked Victor, and you picked Chet. And then the Defensive Player of the Year, the Hakeem Olajuwon Trophy. Jaren Jackson Jr. has the best odds. Evan Mobley is second. JJJ is plus 500, by the way. Mobley is plus 700. AD is plus 850. Giannis Antetokounmpo is plus 850. And then it drops off a little bit to Bam Adebayo at plus 12,000 or 1,200, I should say. That 12,000 would be nuts. Victor Wembanyama at plus 1,200 as well. And then drops off again to Gobert plus 2,000, Brook Lopez plus 2,000. And last name I'll say is Walker Kessler at plus 2,200.
I like the shout out for Walker Kessler. I think AD is a guy, not to win, like. I think that the odds are correctly in the order and places they should be. But if AD being like, I'm done being this guy that they think and takes games off, and I feel like AD could be like, his defense will be the first place that him taking like everything seriously will show first.
Yeah, and the Lakers finally have the personnel around him again, I think, to be the best defense in the league. They definitely could be. And that is a big part of the person winning the award, honestly.
Yep. Being like optically considered the best defender on the best defense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is like a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Unless you're Rudy Gobert. Then it's just like you are a menace and the rest of your team doesn't help you.
Yeah, but even then, those years he was winning, he was getting top 5 defenses. Like they were those
because of it, but
solely because of him. He's He still has yet to not be a part of a top 10 defense in his career. He's a walking top 10 defense by himself,
which is awesome. Yeah. That is wild.
Yeah, especially just looking at the rosters he's been a part of, what the rest of the players were. Yeah, so AD, I feel like honestly might be really good odds here. It's just like the him being healthy factor is the only thing. Like if we're getting 65 games out of AD, that awards cutoff, then I feel like he should probably be the favorite in my eyes.
That's true. That's a fair way to look at it. I don't like Wemby being that high.
Oh, why? He might be the best defensive player in the league year one.
He could be. But I just feel like that's the one place that guys like are slow. Even if you have all the physical things, the one thing that like guys have to adapt to in the NBA is like on the defense. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but he's 7'4", and he has an 8-foot
like
wingspan.
12 foot tall. And or whatever it is when he reaches, isn't it like 12 foot or 12.7 or something gross?
Yeah, I don't even know that, but he has an 8-foot wingspan. That is something I do know, and he can block 3-point shots like in the corner with having his foot in the paint.
I'm stupid. And,
like
now that I think about it,
he just he's very intuitive defensively. He's like Giannis, but just way bigger, way longer, I should say. But like, I think if teams abuse him in the post by like backing him down, like if Embiid bullies him, if even like Jonas Valanciunas bullies him, if that kind of stuff happens, then I feel like that will probably hurt his odds for an award like this. But I feel like he's not a bad, like lower, like a sleeper pick. You know what I mean? He shouldn't be like the favorite for sure, but being whatever he is, 6th, I don't think is that bad. But yeah, so Nick Claxton, honestly, I feel like is a guy that could be higher, to be honest, because the Nets could have a really good defense with all those wings.
That's true. But will it be like he won't be a definitive best player on the defense?
I feel
like will Mikal Bridges get too much of the like hype? You know what I mean?
He could, but I feel like Nick Claxton is just he'll be the more effective, more impactful.
Yes, but we
overall.
just have to remember that the people for vote for this stuff I don't think watch basketball.
But I mean, there was a solid few decades in a row where it was all bigs. Like I feel like
that's true.
You know, people kind of that it's been a more recent trend that some people have been like throwing some love out to the guards and wings.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll see that continue. And it's just with Mikal Bridges being like the focal point of their offense, I just don't think he's going to be as like locked in and defending the absolute best player on the other team every night as much as he used to in Phoenix. Because that was his only job in Phoenix, was to go out there and be a defensive wing. But yeah, Nick Claxton is just very switchable. He's going to be one of the best rim protectors in the league. So I think he could be a pretty good sleeper pick as well. He's at plus 2,500. So, yeah, my pick, though, I'm going with Anthony Davis, I guess. I feel my two that I'm thinking about is Anthony Davis or Evan Mobley, to be honest.
I'll go AD if you go Evan Mobley, so both are represented.
Okay,
and
I'll go
way
Mobley.
higher than Evan Mobley than I am.
Yeah, I'll go Mobley. You got him on in the fantasy league, though.
I did. I picked him and Giddy up, I think, back-to-back picks. Oh, for all those listening, I had the first overall pick. Didn't take Jokic. Jason Tatum, baby.
Mm-hmm. And your team name?
Is the 2024 Kia MVP Jason Tatum.
Yeah. So.
Is it still Kia?
Yeah, it's Kia.
I feel like it is. The 2024 recipient of the Kia Michael Jordan Trophy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I feel like they've already gone away from. Like, they don't even say that. It's kind of annoying that they.
Hockey's the only one that, like, because it's just always been that. And I just think that it's so ingrained that there's, like, almost no way to get people to go, like, oh, it's the Jordan Trophy.
Yeah, but it doesn't even seem like the NBA tried. They just kind of like unveiled the trophies and were like, hey, look, they have names now. And then when like all of like the ladders on NBA, it doesn't say anything about the Jordan Trophy. It just is like
MVP. MVP.
Yeah. So they should try to make it more of a thing. But yeah, the next thing to look at though is I guess the most improved player, which would be the George Mikan Trophy. These are all based off memory. I'm pretty sure it's the George Mikan Trophy. But number one odds is Mikal Bridges. I don't think that he's bad for like being a candidate, but being number one?
I think that's wild.
Yeah. I like Cade Cunningham being here. He's fourth.
Yeah, because it's like a little bit of both. It's like a sprinkle of comeback, a sprinkle of... Or does the NBA do a comeback? No, they don't. Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
They don't. NFL does a comeback player of the year, but it's like Cade Cunningham has a little bit of both. So his like improvements will be like hecka dramatic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is he second odds?
He's fourth.
Fourth? Who's second?
Tyrese Maxey, which I don't hate.
I also don't hate because with the void of James Harden eventually being gone. Who's third?
Jordan Poole.
Also don't hate because of a similar thing, but there's no void he's filling. He just went to a place that is, I guess there is a void. It's called Bradley Beal being gone.
Yeah.
I also got him in fantasy because I'm like, he's just going to be a fantasy animal. If he like has a semblance of an efficient season, he'll be a fantasy animal. Efficient's the wrong word.
Poole or Beal?
Poole,
okay.
Not Beal. I have Poole in my fantasy team.
Gotcha. Makes sense. But yeah, nobody's really the favorite. I mean, Mikal Bridges is number one, but he's plus 1,000. Maxey's plus 1,100. Jordan Poole's plus 1,200.
That's wild how big their number. They have no idea.
Yeah. Cade Cunningham's plus 1,500. Anthony Simons is plus 1,700, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes is not bad. Austin Reeves, another one that's like,
he already did it.
He already came, like if we've already seen it happen, it just feels a little cheating to be like, oh, if he does what he just already did just this whole next season, that he's the most improved. 24 games.
It was 24 games was playoffs probably.
Yeah, basically ever since the trade deadline, ever since Russ left is when Austin Reeves became Austin Reeves. What we know him as now.
What we see him as, yeah.
And then Evan Mobley is here. Franz Wagner is not a bad one. Josh Giddey. Desmond Bane makes sense to me, honestly.
With the 25 games without Ja.
Yeah.
Like, stepping up and then continuing to look pretty solid. I just feel like it's going to be Cade. Like, Cade's a great one at the top.
I agree. Cade is who I gravitated to right away.
I also don't hate Jordan Poole, but are those guys that are like going into a place where there's a void. But we've already seen Mikal Bridges do it.
Mm-hmm.
Same amount of time we saw Austin Reeves do it, so it's already been done. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Cade with mine. Yeah. I think is who I like to win the award.
DeAndre Ayton is really low. I thought he should be higher.
Which is another guy that is a void situation.
Yeah.
He's ready to dominate in the competition. I love that name. I know that you don't, but I love that he's just committed to domination. Dominating.
I wouldn't mind it if somebody else said it. If somebody else had that name. Like, it's just the person who it's attached to. Somebody who's like very clearly, because of his own like things, has not dominated in his career. You know what I mean?
But what about being Dylan the villain?
What does that even mean?
Dylan Brooks self-proclaimed himself Dylan the villain.
Yeah, we talked about this. But what is your point?
Is it the same energy to you? Same idea?
Kind of. I mean,
okay.
Dylan is more like he's just leaning into being the
bad guy.
Bad guy, but also just like the guy that nobody wants. I don't know. Nobody likes, I guess, which is kind of the same thing. But DeAndre Ayton, I think, is just not self-aware at all. You know, that's what I don't like about it.
Like,
it's not self-awareness to get that tatted, especially just in the font that he did. Just on his, it just looks like something that he.
So Shaq having the Superman tattoos tacky.
Shaq doing anything is hilarious because he's self-aware. You know what I mean? Like, he knows it's a joke. DeAndre Ayton is like, it looks. I guarantee you.
I don't think Shaq thought it was a joke when he got the Superman tattoo. But anyway,
there's always some irony to something that Shaq does. DeAndre Ayton, I guarantee you, he thinks that is hard. He thinks that tattoo is like the coolest thing ever.
And that's fine. You got to be confident in yourself.
But at that kind of, he just doesn't understand that. Why does he is built like David Robinson, but he doesn't dunk the ball. Why does he never dunk the basketball?
Okay, I'm going to keep it a buck. I haven't seen the font that he got the tattoo across his back.
It's like crazy.
You can't even read it.
Yeah.
It kind of also, it's like weirdly raised. Are you sure it's a tattoo? Did he get branded? I don't because sometimes people do that.
I guess I don't know.
It's I don't think it is because I've always heard to refer to a tattoo, not just you, but if you look at it, it's like crazy raised from his skin.
Well, yeah, because it means a tattoo starts off as a scar, you know.
Yeah, but
I think that's probably just it's because that was like right after it
like they like took
there.
The picture in the seat.
Yeah, is why it looks raised. But it just looks like it was carved in it's carved in a prison wall type thing.
Or I was going to say it looks like
some really crappy
text.
Metal band.
I said Korn, and then you went a really crappy metal band.
Oh, yeah, it's not really like Korn's. Maybe a little bit, but
just with like extra lines.
Yeah,
it feels like you would see the word "scarecrow" written in that font.
Yeah, or just some really weird.
I guarantee. Sorry, going back. This is more just us talking in the podcast. I guarantee he thinks that's hard.
I do, honestly.
That's a great liner. What do we got next? We did George Mikan. What else do we have? Coach?
We have.
Am I blanking on one? Because I'm a silly goose.
We both picked Cade for most improved? Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
I was going to zag again just so we have different ones, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because I think Cade's the right answer.
I'll go. So just so we have different ones. No, I'll keep Cade also. I just feel the best about Cade. Tyrese Maxey would be my second one, though.
That was going to be the other guy I'd pick.
Yeah.
Him or Poole, because people like big numbers. Mm-hmm. And I think Poole could legitimately average 30 a game, but it'll just be on a terrible team.
Yeah, and also I'm not even really thinking about who people would vote for these. I'm more thinking about who at the end of the year, who do I think would deserve the award?
Oh, okay, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Then for sure, Jason Tatum for MVP for me.
Yeah. So the next award is the Clutch Player of the Year. Dame is odds-on favorite for that, plus 1,000. I don't know why Fox is so low. I feel like he should be pretty high. He just won it pretty handedly last year. SGA is tied with Dame at number 1. Luka is in third. Fox is fourth. Ant Edwards is fifth. Jokic is sixth. Embiid is seventh.
What? He doesn't play in games where they're close. I'm confused.
Donovan Mitchell.
I after you said Ant, I was sold.
Oh, really? At fifth, so he's plus 1,500.
I just like Ant to do that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just like Ant. I'm all in. Ant for Clutch Player of the Year, which is a stupid award.
I kind of like it. It's a new one.
I don't think that it's not on the same level, but I feel like an award for Defensive Player of the Year and Clutch Player of the Year being in like the same thing is weird to me.
What do you mean the same thing?
I feel like they're just like the same level. Obviously, MVP's up here, and then you've got like the other awards.
Oh.
I feel like Clutch Player of the Year being in the same conversation as those is weird to me.
So wouldn't you already feel that way about like Sixth Man of the Year?
Sixth Man's like a valuable like role thing.
Yeah, but it's not Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like that's a clear gap. And Clutch is more important than Sixth Man of the Year.
I do not think so.
What? Somebody who's controlling
not every game has clutch moments.
But it is it's extremely valuable to have the guy who is the best in the clutch in the league. How is that not a valuable thing to have? But I also feel like
the guy that is the best in the clutch in the league is like a very subjective thing. Because like it'd be Jokic every time.
Who performs the best? Yeah, I mean all of these things are subjective. It's not any more so than like all these other awards.
It is. They are at the whims of their team being in moments that are close.
What does that mean?
Like, if a team is just better than everyone else, if you're on a very, very good team that doesn't squeak out wins, you're not in moments like, oh, that was clutch. Even if you're just like continually to bury someone.
Why are you acting like it's only total points matters? I feel like
I just bring up points, just in general.
Or not points, but I mean like you're acting like it just like the more games you have that are close, like that is like somehow
people like, in their brain would like associate you more with clutch moments.
I'm sure that would help, but I just don't think that it's going to be like that. Like it's not going to disqualify somebody if like Fox, like the Kings are just in a bunch of clutch games, and then the Nuggets aren't in as near as many. Like they're in half as many, but Jokic was just like insane, like his averages in clutch time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like there's still a really good case to be made for Jokic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I just don't get how it's way more important than Sixth Man of the Year.
Because it's the person who's controlling the game, winning his team games in the crunch, like in clutch, like in the most important moments of a game.
Yeah.
So why is that not more valuable than the sixth best player on your team, or the guy who comes off the bench on your team?
The guy that comes off the bench and like. In my brain, it's more like the guy that runs the second unit and keeps things moving through the game. Every game.
And so that's more important than having a guy who in close
realm,
games...
Not more, but there's in a similar realm.
Are you smoking something? Are you on crazy pills? I feel like this is the most insane thing I've ever heard you say.
That's not even close to true, but...
How is the Sixth Man of the Year on the same level as the player who is... winning his team games.
I think the thing that gets me more is the clutch thing feels so much more abstract than six. Maybe that's what I'm struggling.
It's just about who's performing the best in like the last 5 minutes of a game that's close under 5 points of difference in score.
So I think it's just more that it's like this more abstract concept than you're the best guy that comes off the bench. You're not a starter. Here's a high five.
There is a hard line, though, for what is clutch time, and that is in the final 5 minutes and within 5 points. That's
like labeled as?
Yeah, that's like a objective line for like that's a thing that you can. There's clutch time stats or crunch time stats or whatever it's called.
Okay, so let's say there's a weird, crazy world where we'll just use Jokic as an example because I feel like he's a guy that is in this realm. Like we've seen him hit game winners. We've seen him do crazy things.
Yeah.
Let's say the Nuggets are so crazy, they're in 0 of those games somehow.
Okay. Yeah.
Should he just be disqualified from this thing then?
Probably.
Because his team was just better enough.
Yeah. So you see how that's like way less of an issue than in disqualifying every single starter on a team for an award? You get what I mean? Like it's like you're disqualifying somebody, like just the very few guys that are like.
I just think they're on the same level in terms of awards. So would you put Clutch on the same level as Defensive Player of the Year?
Around that level, yeah. I'd probably put it a little bit below Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
But it's
agree
close.
to disagree, but as long as it's below Defensive Player of the Year. Because that's like a game in and game out, every game type of thing in my brain.
Yeah, that's kind of why I lean that way too. But there's not many, like that's probably the only two, that and MVP are the only two awards that I think are more important of like the individual awards, you know, not counting all NBA.
I can't tell if it's like new or it just feels weird to me. It feels like a made up throwaway thing. I understand that having someone that has ice in their veins and is like just a murderer is an insanely important thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fully aware of, and maybe it's because it's a new award, 2019, something like that.
Last year was the first year they did it. Fox is the first ever winner of the Jerry West Trophy.
One?
Yep.
Why is it? Was Jerry West just a murderer in like
Mr.
crunch
Clutch.
time?
Yeah, it's his nickname.
Well, people have. I guess that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he got that nickname.
Westbrook is not Mr. Triple Double. Or is he? And I'm just crazy.
That might be a nickname of his on Basketball Reference. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. But he's also way later in the history of the sport of basketball. Oh, literally Mr. Triple Double is a nickname.
Well, I'd hope so. Because that is like what he does better than anybody else ever.
So what did you mean when you said he's not Mr. Triple Double?
I just didn't know because I'd never heard anybody say it before.
Oh.
I just was like asking a genuine question.
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain can't. Because I get that having a clutch person is important because I've watched a lot of basketball teams that didn't have that guy.
Yeah.
That had like this weird, not hot potato on who's going to take the shot, but it was like the one guy that was like, it's me, was not the one that we wanted to be doing it.
Yeah, the Celtics were one of the worst teams a few years ago in crunch time games. They lost every close game they were in, basically.
Because it was like before Jason Tatum like walked onto a court and was like, I'm better than everyone else here.
Yeah. He
still had that weird like, oh my goodness, I'm playing a game with
And so you think that what Malcolm Brogdon did for you last year is more important to your team than what Jason Tatum developed into getting that like aspect of his game? You know what I mean? Like, how is that even comparable?
I guess that makes sense. Like, I just didn't have like a concrete thing to connect it to.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like. Also, I think it's just the word clutch. That feels like such a non-award word.
Like non.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
official.
Non-professional.
It just seems
non-official.
It just seems like they don't. I guess they do call them pancake blocks, but like it just feels like a weird. Not in that I just can't.
Yeah.
The more and more like it gets explained, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But my brain just could not like it just doesn't seem like a real award.
Yeah, I get you. It makes sense, but yeah,
I still think it's like in terms of an award, it just seems like such a weird thing because there's just some guys that are in that situation all the time. Because it'd be Damian Lillard every year.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I get what you're saying.
In essence, to find the clutchest player that doesn't change year to year, the dude that's the most like. If this award existed during the 90s, it's just Michael Jordan. Always. Except for when he's not playing basketball.
To me, I feel like it's not that crazy to think about, okay, like the candidates for this year will be like a guy that, you know, all year long we just saw them continually put in crunch time scenarios and they just would continue to pull their teams out of those spots. You know what I mean? So it's like it's narrowing the parameters to make more specific. But the thing is, like, the award you brought up, or I think I brought it up actually, but Sixth Man of the Year is like the main example of an award doing that exact thing, narrowing the parameters in like a way worse way. It's like who is the best guy of all the guys who don't start?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like not a teammate award. It's just like a sixth man is like a valuable thing because it's like there's teams out there that the sixth man is like what carries you through stretches of games the same way some guys carry you through crunch time. Obviously, when second units are in, that is not the same level of importance to winning a basketball game as crunch times. But if you have a terrible lull where your team can't do anything, and your starters just have to rest and then go fix it,
the Nuggets,
it's just a problem. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So having a guy like what I think Chris Paul's going to be whenever we get to Sixth Man of the Year award, that just runs your second unit and makes that like a not drop off from the moon is also their awards. None of them are not valuable at all.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not one of those people who I've heard people that just completely make fun of a Sixth Man of the Year and think it shouldn't be an award. I don't agree with them. I'm just saying if you have a problem, if you have a problem with the Clutch Player of the Year award, why do you not have a problem with the Sixth Man of the Year award? Is what I was more saying.
Yeah, and I think I still can't. I'm still kind of struggling. I'm sure I'll sleep on it and it'll make more sense. It's just, I'm almost positive it's just the word clutch that's just messing with my head.
Yeah, I kind of get that. I feel like, but I was just aware of like a few years ago, I feel like I was, when I first became aware of clutch time stats, like clutch stats.
That's like a real number that they keep track of.
Yeah, and they'll pop up on the screen when you're watching games. Ever since I became more used to seeing that, it's like an official like legalized thing, like with a cutoff on what defines it, you know? So it makes sense, like as a concept. It's not just like this idea. It's more of like a actual thing.
It's like an actual thing.
Yeah. So, but with all that being said, I'm leaning either Dame or SGA. Your pick was Ant, right?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Ant, even though I don't really. Yeah, I get Ant. I'm going Ant.
Yeah, I also would love to pick Jokic here, and to be honest, if we're going like purely, removing the parameters of what defines clutch, I feel like Jokic is just in a vacuum who I would want in a clutch time scenario, number one pick in the league. But it's similar argument to be made with MVP. That's just not how MVP turns out every year.
It's not ever the best player in the league. It's
not always, at least. Yeah,
not always. 96% of the time it is, but there's years where it's not just the guy that's the best. Mm-hmm. I think Finals MVP is maybe not Finals. NFL Super Bowl MVP is almost always the wrong answer. They almost always get it wrong. It should always Patrick Mahomes, when his first Super Bowl got Super Bowl MVP, it should have been Damian Williams as running back.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
James White should have got it when the Patriots came back 28-3 against the Falcons.
And not Tom Brady.
It should have been the running back and not Tom Brady. I would argue the Rams Super Bowl with the Patriots, it could have been Gronk, or it should not have been Brady, and it ended up being Edelman, I think. So there's just a couple, and I can't think of NBA examples like I can football examples off the top of my head, but
Tony Parker MVP, over Tim Duncan, Iggy over Steph or LeBron.
But those are examples where the guy that did the thing that was the most valuable, it actually made a little bit of sense.
Tony Parker, I don't think made any sense. It was just Tim. The only reason for it was Tim Duncan didn't have as good of a series as he did
usually does,
or a good one for Boston. Cedric Maxwell over Larry Bird in '81. That should not have happened.
But the Iggy Golden State one, because it's before Steph was a nuclear warhead. That happened the next year.
No, that was his first MVP year.
Was 15?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought it wasn't it 2K17 though, where you just couldn't use Steph in my part because it wasn't fun? Or was it
probably?
2K6?
But that was right after his even better year, the unanimous MVP year, 2016.
I just think what Iggy did defensively before LeBron was that made sense that they gave it to someone else.
It makes some
more
sense, but it should have been Steph or LeBron over Iggy. I think
even LeBron in a losing situation, should have had it over Iggy.
I mean, are you kidding? Just think about what Iggy's case was.
I was good at covering LeBron.
What?
Yeah. I was good at dealing with LeBron.
Well, good in sense of holding him to 40 points a game. Something insane.
Yeah.
Isn't that more of a case for LeBron than it is Iggy? That he had to be.
I also think losers getting MVP is a weird deal.
Yeah, it's only ever happened once, but if
did it happen in the NBA?
Yeah, the very first year ever of the award was Jerry West got it. on the losing team.
It's only happened once in the NFL too. Also, I think maybe not the only time a defensive player got it.
Yeah, you've said this before on the podcast.
I'm sure I have.
Yeah,
I only have
football
Dallas
knowledge
Cowboys
in my basketball.
player, yep,
right?
It's not Bob Lilly. Gosh dang it,
dude! That was literally the name you said the last episode too, and you were like, "It's not him. It's not Bob Lilly." And I think it might have actually been him, or I don't remember now.
Chuck Howley.
Yep. Okay, that sounds familiar again.
Dang it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're reliving moments now. But yeah, so I'll go with SGA just so we can move on to another award finally. And you have Anthony Edwards for Clutch Player of the Year. Next one, NBA Sixth Man of the Year. Highest odds is Emmanuel Quickley at plus 900, tied with Norm Powell. Malik Monk is third at plus 1200. Brogdon, for some reason, why do we know that Brogdon's not going to be starting and what team he's even going to be playing for?
I don't like that one either.
Yeah.
Other than he just does it all the time.
He's only done it once. Last year was the first time he's ever not been a starter.
What? My brain broke.
What?
Who am I thinking of then?
Besides Malcolm Brogdon? Jordan Clarkson?
I don't know what wires in my brain crossed. We can just ignore that.
Okay. Yeah, last year made sense, but it's just this year we don't know where he's going to be.
There's too many questions about what he's going to be doing.
Yeah.
To give him that high of odds. Because if he's on a bad team, probably won't win Sixth Man of the Year.
Probably not. Yeah, I don't know why.
He won't be a sixth man.
Or even if he is, if they win 25 games, I don't know why he would be a candidate. And then Chris Paul makes sense, but he's fifth. He should probably be a little bit higher. Drew Holiday, for some reason, is this high. I don't know why it's assumed that he's going to be the sixth man for sure. I wouldn't be crazy surprised. Like, I know that's in the cards, because if you think about it on a strategic level, it makes sense for Derek White to be in the starting lineup because Drew Holiday has more of the scoring, on ball juice, to use in the second unit. But the thing is, Drew Holiday is just a way higher caliber or way higher, noteworthy player that is expected to start. So I don't know if he's going to be completely and fully willing to do that. So we'll see. But with Derek White, though, I think he's a pretty good candidate, but he's quite a bit lower, honestly. He's plus 2,300. Buddy Hield is also plus 2,300, who apparently is not happy about being the sixth man. Bobby Portis is plus 2,300. One of those guys.
I like that one.
He loves being the sixth man. He's definitely embraced that. Caleb Martin plus 2,500.
But yeah, he will be. Never mind.
He might be. I have no idea what the Heat's rotation will be.
I was just trying to think, will he even be the sixth man consistently? But
he might be.
Probably.
Bogdan Bogdanovic is probably going to be the sixth man. That just makes no sense with who they have in their backcourt in Atlanta. Christian Wood, Karis LeVert, Gary Trent. Yeah, I think that's enough to say. Christian Brown is down here.
That is a compelling one because that'll be a good sixth man on a very good team.
Yeah, and he's the definitive sixth man too.
Oh, it's not a question. Mm-hmm. He will be the first guy off the bench unless
Reggie Jackson has a resurgence or something.
No, I was gonna say, or if they Jamal I'm knocking on wood. Somebody had his knee feels off or something, and so they're like, okay, let's have not Felton. Wow, my brain is broken at the moment.
Raymond Felton,
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah,
I don't even know why Raymond Felton was on the brain. Mm-hmm. I have no idea. Reggie Jackson. If they're like, okay, let's give. You know what I mean? Because that would be the guy off the bench for Jamal.
So Reggie Jackson would start then. You're saying.
No, if they're putting him on point, number limits or something, having him play less minutes a night or something weird like that. I don't know.
Oh, so Reggie Jackson would be a good candidate.
If it just would be a needs thing.
Okay.
But it won't be that. That's not going to happen. It's going to be Christian Brown, and I think that is a sneaky one because I think he'll have pretty good numbers. Just if you take Bruce Brown from last year and just pretend that he only was the sixth man. That's, I think, an award winner. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
And I think that's what we could see Christian Brown do.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain extent. Different, obviously not identical roles.
Yeah.
But
I think
they'll do a lot of the same things.
Close to starter level minutes, for sure.
And that's also a big part of the award. So
yeah, and Michael Malone has said that on media day, he said that he has the top 6 nailed down. That Christian Brown is the 6th, the only guy. Well, so somebody asked him if he had a bench lineup in mind, if he nailed down the bench, and he said no. He'll have to tweak some things and figure out who will be joining Christian Brown in the bench lineup. Like Chris Brown was the only solid guy.
Like definitive, he is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your starting 5, and then Christian Brown, and then
we'll figure
whatever
out the
else
rest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's a pretty good odds bet for plus 4,800.
It is interesting.
So, but quickly, I think is a good candidate. I'm going to go with your pick's probably going to be Chris Paul, right?
I like Chris Paul. For a lot of the same reasons, I guess I like Christian Brown. Is just like they're going to be on a pretty decent team, and they will be like a huge reason why that second unit works.
For sure. Yeah.
Chris Paul to like the amplified pinnacle of that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I will have Chris Paul as my pick.
Okay. That works.
And I feel like anytime that like there's a lot of like NBA writers and people that vote that are like Chris Paul. I just feel like that could be another thing is just like give Chris Paul an award because it's Chris Paul.
People will be talking about it.
He bought into the 6-man role and he just deserves it. And
yeah,
I could just see that being a narrative.
I feel like that's probably the best pick, but I am going to take the route of choosing somebody else on this one, and I'm just going to take a shot. I don't even feel good about this one, but I'm just kind of like I could see it happening, and I'm going to go with Buddy Hield. And I think maybe the Pacers are going to be a really solid team this year, and Buddy Hield accepts his role and plays big minutes off the bench. So yeah, I'll go with Buddy Hield for 6th Man of the Year, which is the John Havlicek Trophy.
Is this real?
We have one more award here.
Sorry.
What are you saying?
I just was like kind of scrolling.
Yeah.
And apparently Pat Riley said that we've never shopped him and had no interest in ever trading the guy. Do you want to guess who he's talking
Tyler
about?
Herro.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because that is just a blatant lie.
No, it's not.
That they've never shopped Tyler Herro?
What did he give as an offer to the Blazers that was any sort of realistic, like serious, something that they could consider? You know what I mean? He never even threw in like Jaime Jaquez or like.
So like all of the things were just pretend. All of the other things with Tyler Herro being like bait, those have never been real. Those have always been fake.
What are you talking about?
Tyler Herro being like in like trade talks. Quotes.
Yeah, that happens all the time without teams actually shopping somebody. It's just like people are like, oh, a star wants to go to Miami or Miami wants to.
So Jaylen Brown's never been shopped.
That's not what I said.
No, I'm asking. That's me asking.
I don't know. I would say he has been, but I don't know for sure.
Because the way that I look at it is like Tyler Herro and Jaylen Brown have been like in the same exact.
But that's different because the offer that was given to the Nets for KD was like a really solid. Like it seemed like an offer that kind of made some sense.
It was a real offer,
and
it
was a real offer. Yeah.
Okay. And all the Tyler Herro ones were just like, sure, if you take it, you take it.
Yeah, I mean they're both
real.
actual offers, but like the thing is with the Tyler Herro ones was like, I'm not going to give you like anything. Like it's not like something that's like realistically.
Yeah, it was a terrible offer. That's why
purpose.
Dame is not a Heat. Yes.
Yeah.
They thought they had the leverage. Well, see, and that's the thing. So was that a real offer? Because they thought they had all the leverage in the world. Dame said he wanted to go there.
I honestly don't think so. I don't think Pat Riley's that stupid. I think it was more of like, I mean, if you're willing to give us a Dame for this amount, I'll take him. But like, if not, like I kind of, I'm not interested. Yeah, like because I think he wants to. I think he also kind of wanted to use it as a bit of a bolstering, like to put a chip on Tyler Herro's shoulder a little bit too. I think it could be part of it.
That's why it was so public, like immediately that Tyler Herro was the guy that he just. Okay, so this is just my confusion on the definition of shopping as opposed to being in trades.
Yeah, well, can you read the quote again? What did he said?
We have never shopped him and had no interest in ever trading the guy.
Yeah. So I believe I'm not saying I believe him as in like there's no way he's wrong, but I don't like feel like he's for sure lying. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like that could be.
And I think that's just my like. No, he was like in like official trade talks. He was a member of the trades.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and like publicly released on purpose. This is the package we offered, and Tyler Herro's name was on that package. Meaning,
I guess if you think about
maybe
it like
the
that,
shopping, but like in my brain, that's like he was like you were. Yeah. In the trade, he was in the realm of trade in your brain.
But to me, like everybody has been saying ever since that the trade offer was made, was like the Heat are not taking this seriously. Like they're not even trying to get Dame. You know what I mean? Like they're offering them like something that they like. I've been wrong this whole time because in the past I thought when we first started talking about it, how you used to say that it was like such a under like payment.
Okay. I'm glad you brought this up because I was like, I'm going to have to go back and listen because I feel like I'm being gaslit. Yeah. Because I was like, I thought that you thought the trade was like fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not fine, but I thought that it wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be. But the only reason I thought that was because I didn't even know apparently until way later that the actual deal that was talked about, Pat Riley would not include any of those other pieces, like any of those picks,
Jovic or
Jaquez. It was just like Tyler Herro and Duncan Robinson, and like a pick, I think one pick. It was something really insane, like insanely insulting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's wild.
After I saw that, I was like, oh, this makes way more sense now as why people were making such a big deal about the Heat offer. For some reason, I just assumed that I think it was probably just because I assumed the Heat wanted Dame. And so I was like, what is a Heat trade package for Dame? So
you built one that made close to sense.
Yeah.
And then that's not what they offered.
Not at all. And I just assumed like it's probably that. And like the reason why I kept hearing people say it's not enough is because they're like, the thing they kept bringing up was like, what is Tyler Herro to the Blazers? You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, I guess Tyler Herro as the centerpiece of the trade to the Blazers, he's not worth a ton to the Blazers. So I get that. It's not perfect. But like it's still a offer that has like these other. But the thing is, it didn't have any of that other stuff. It was literally just Tyler Herro.
Okay, now everything is making more sense now. I am no longer lost and confused and feel gaslit. Not anything you were saying, but I was like, I swore he thought the trade was like not that bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That is
And there's another classic. Me just not fully understanding the definition of things because like. If you throw guy in trades just to be like, sure, here's something, in my brain, that's shopping.
I guess.
As opposed, shopping is also like the hardcore definition is, what do you want for Jaylen Brown? Nothing? What do you want for Jaylen Brown? And just calling people over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So if that's shopping, then I believe that Tyler Herro has never been that.
At least we have no reason to believe he has been.
There's been nothing that's been publicly said or I know that like he's been like in the fan realm of like get rid of Tyler Herro while the getting's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is the most he'll ever be worth. Mm-hmm. Why do we still have them? We did this with Duncan Robinson and look how it turned out. Which I also think is like a big reason why people Heat fans like don't want Tyler Herro to stay. They want to go get something different for him is because they like feel like they'll be Duncan Robinson again. Where he's getting insane money to do like almost nothing, except for when they're in the playoffs and Duncan Robinson has like the game of his life.
Yeah, and now I feel like Duncan Robinson might be back because Strus is gone, and now Robinson has to kind of be their Strus now. Like Strus stole the spot from Duncan Robinson because he went into a slump, and now last time we've seen Duncan Robinson playing, he was out of the slump and he looked like himself again. Now Strus is gone. That's probably why also they felt comfortable in not re-signing Strus.
Yep.
To that number. They were like, well, I mean, Duncan Robinson can probably do this pretty well too. So we already have him under contract. So it's just Pat Riley doing his thing of like finding guys that are like, they can just extract value out of NBA players that it's like replacement level players. Like the reason why I think Gabe Vincent probably won't be as nearly as good for another team as he was for the Heat.
Well, Same thing that early like Brad Stevens Celtics teams did. Like Kelly Olynyk just went and got paid and then was like fine, but not the Kelly Olynyk that he was on the Celtics. Like there's some coaches, or maybe it's it's not Pat Riley. Pat Riley doesn't coach, but like Eric Spoelstra's just a guy that can just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, oh, you're good at these things. Don't try to do anything else. Only do this.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so looking at the Coach of the Year while we're here, do you know who the odds-on favorite is?
For Coach of the Year?
Yes.
It's probably Ime or something wild like that.
It is not. He is okay. Not. I don't even see him on here.
Dagnall?
It is Dagnall.
Sorry, Dagnall, whatever.
I want to make that into a short sometime, but we don't have video for it, so I'll have to do something creative to make it into a short. But
just pay an animator to just draw what they think we look like.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought about that, or just like the waveform of it or something. I don't know what I'll do, but that has to be a short out at some point. But yeah, Dagnall.
For those that don't know what he's talking about, I don't really have a defense. I just thought Dagnall was Dagnall for
and you were like really confident about it too. You were
like probably for a good like half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I only heard you say it once, but like. It's just funny. If you listen back to that episode, I was like in the middle of saying something, and then you like mentioned you were rattling off names, and you were like Dagnall, and then I just like stopped, and I was like, I didn't say anything for a second, and then you just start going off on something else, and you're talking, and then I like butt in after you're done talking, and I'm like, yeah, just a second, say Coach Mark's name again, and then and you were like, it's Dagnall, right? Like you were like, so like that's I feel it seemed like you thought clearly, you heard that before or something.
If you use English and read his name, the end is Nault. No world is that nut.
Yeah.
It is definitely Dagnall.
Uh-huh.
But in my defense, I didn't add letters. I just shuffled them around.
Yeah. You moved the L to like halfway across the word.
Yeah. Oh. The L and the A just took a trip to the end of Dag.
Yeah.
Dagnall. Dagnall. It is Mark Dagnall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which feels wrong to say it that way, honestly. But
really?
It does a little bit. Because my brain is permanently engraved with Dagnall. Well, no. And I like if it wasn't a name that sounded like it was supposed to be like a derogatory thing, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's not like what a nice nickname they have for Mark Dagnall. You know what I mean?
Like, are you saying Dagnall is derogatory?
Not derogatory. I just feel like it doesn't sound like a nice nickname.
No, I agree. Yeah. I don't think that is a nickname. Nobody calls them that. Do they?
Nobody calls them that because I'm the only idiot that But, like, anyway, that's it. That's all. I'll stop.
Yeah, but anyways, he's the odds-on favorite for Coach of the Year at plus 750. Adrian Griffin, for some reason, is number 2, which this is... We're already cooking with gas in this episode, but this would be the last like real tangent we go into. Adrian, did you hear the story about what happened with the coaching staff with the Bucks recently, right before the season started?
It hasn't yet, or like last season.
No, this year. Like it's just happened.
So it just happened. Oh, I guess people won't hear this before the season starts. Okay. I'm gonna keep it a buck. No, I have no idea.
So Terry Stotts, who you said just the other episode, he can be a head coach. He's not with the team anymore.
Yes, okay, I have seen this. I don't know why, but I did see that Terry Stotts is gone.
Yeah, so what happened apparently is, Dame's, obviously it makes sense. Dame just got to Milwaukee. Terry Stotts is his former head coach of most of his career.
Oh, I didn't even connect those dots.
Oh, really?
Now that you say it, duh.
Yeah.
But
like that made a lot of sense having him there, and Dame talked about a lot, like about how it felt like it was like a seamless transition because he felt like he was actually another coach in a way because he knows all the terminology because Terry Stotts was the offensive coordinator. He was implementing the offense.
Yep.
And so, Dame is very familiar with it and everything. Yep. And I guess Adrian Griffin had some sort of uncomfortability with how Terry Stotts was, either how like the players looked at him or how he went about his role as the assistant coach. Because obviously the reason why he's there, why the Bucks hired him on, I'm guessing, is the same reason why this happens a lot, where a rookie head coach is hired, and the same reason why Missoula's bench looks the way it does this year.
Yep.
when a rookie head coach is there, the front office is like, oh, let's hire a very seasoned head coach as the assistant to kind
of go find guys that can help.
Yeah, to kind of give him some experience on the bench. And sometimes you'll see that backfire in a way because, a lot of coaches like to use their own coaching tree, that they.
Yep.
So it's a little bit of overstepping when the front office assembles all the coaches for them. And then also like when they give them what they kind of view sometimes as like a babysitter or as like basically a backup in case if you don't do a good job, this guy's on the bench and will
do it.
take your spot. So I'm sure there was some kind of dynamic there where Adrian Griffin felt that way about Terry Stotts. But apparently what happened was after a play in practice and scrimmage, Dame and some other players huddled up with Terry Stotts. He went over to them and was talking to them, saying some stuff to them about what they were doing. And then right after that happened, Adrian Griffin apparently started cussing Terry Stotts out in front of the whole team and berating him and digging into him. And then Terry Stotts left. I think immediately that day announced that he wasn't going to be with the team anymore. And then they did a press conference about it. And Adrian Griffin was they asked him about it, why he was leaving. And he was like, yeah, I don't know why he's leaving. It caught us all by surprise or something like that. And I wish him all the best, blah, blah, blah. Which is just a nothing answer. But
it's a non-answer. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just crazy that would happen right before the season starts. And I can't imagine Dame is thrilled about that.
So looking here, because I didn't know, and so I looked it up as you were talking.
Yeah.
Apparently, Griffin asked all the coaches to huddle up, but Stotts was talking with Giannis and Dame instead.
Okay. I missed that detail.
Which Griffin did not like, and then everything after that was as you had said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it just feels like something that is a bit of a train wreck at the beginning of a season, especially with him being the offensive coordinator and the real off. You know what I mean? When a coach is
it's not like a guy that they had to give the title to.
Yeah,
it was his offense, not Griffin's.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, it just seems like a bit of a mess. Also, I'm sure this doesn't bode too well as a great introduction to the beginning of Adrian Griffin's career as a head coach. Probably doesn't earn him too much favor with the front office. But then also
with anybody, across the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Terry Stotts is a disliked guy.
Oh no, not at all. He's a very well respected, well liked guy. Yeah. So
to blow up on him because he was. And if it was true that the head coach asked all the coaches to huddle up and talk about something, and Terry Stotts, if it was an active decision to be I'm going to go talk to Dame and Giannis instead.
Yeah.
I feel obviously it could have been handled better.
Mm-hmm.
But I would also be okay.
I'm sure it was probably some kind of continued pattern of there was probably some other instances of Adrian Griffin feeling like Terry Stotts, the way he was behaving was a little bit he was above the rules,
above where he was actually at.
Yeah. Which I'm sure it's probably actually kind of hard for a guy like Terry Stotts not to feel that way when he's been a coach for over a decade, a head coach, and he's with a first year head coach. And, he's also, he's kind of the offensive coach in a way. And so he feels like he can have kind of free reign in a way, I guess, other than it's not like he was actively disobeying unless he did. It was very noticeable that he was hey, let's huddle up. And Terry Stotts was after hearing that, I am now going to turn around and walk over the other direction. You know what I mean? I feel it was probably something he was already kind of headed over to talk to Giannis and Dame. And he just was I'll meet you over there after I'm done here. But who knows? Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting story to throw in here while we have Adrian Griffin here as the number 2 odds guy for Coach of the Year. Don't feel great about it.
It makes me not worried about the Bucks because they just have too much to be bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it is very concerning.
Yeah. For sure.
Now that I've heard and digested all of it at once, other than I saw Terry Stotts was gone abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
that was already like, oh, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
But now
it's literally just days before the season started.
Yeah.
This was last Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, that's a week.
Yeah.
Or a week and a day for the Bucks because they don't play opening night.
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird. Nobody on the East Coast plays opening night. So all the game times suck.
Oh, yeah, that is.
For New York people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, 6:30 and 9 is the central time starts, right?
Oh, so they did just you just have a early Denver time tip-off.
Yeah. So it'd be 5:30 Denver. Yeah.
Which is not a great time to start a basketball game if people get off work at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, probably not. But first game of the season, I'm sure there's a lot of people going to make it there. Yeah, it's going to be sold out for sure.
I'm not worried about Denver selling out Ball Arena or Pepsi Center or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Ball Arena has grown on me a lot. I'm fine with calling it that.
Yeah.
But, so Joe Mazzulla is third. Rick Carlisle's fourth. Nick Nurse is fifth. Honestly, I don't feel great about any of these. Other than Mark Daigneault. I feel good about Mark Daigneault.
I think Daigneault will be a good one. If the Celtics... I'm a homer. I'm going to stop talking.
He could be. I don't hate that
No,
one.
I don't think... none of them are bad picks. None of the names they said are terrible. It's just whose team is... And it's hard to say highest above expectation, but if the Celtics are a consistent team... that's what they weren't last year, was consistent through everything.
Yeah.
So if they're consistent under this new Mazzulla system, then I feel like there's an argument for him. He's the best coach that's made a consistent team. Even though their expectation is to be one of the best teams in the NBA, if you become the best version of what you could possibly be, there's a world. But then if OKC looks really good, then obviously, but I don't think we'll see another Mike Brown. I don't think that'll happen again this year.
Yeah, a unanimous.
I don't think that will be a case. It'll be just a lot of votes for a lot of guys at the top. Maybe Spoelstra will get some love if the Heat have a good regular season.
Yeah, I could
Wild
see that.
He's never won this award.
That's true.
Really crazy.
That could bolster his chances for it.
Because I feel like it got brought up more last year, especially that playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Malone just gets one.
Yeah, he's not even on here.
Which I feel like there's some coaches where the players get too much of the Jokic is a weird, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the players do more of the coach's job than the coach.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers ever being in Coach of the Year things is illegal. Because it's he doesn't his players don't carry him, but his players enable him to be a good coach more than some coaches. There's never been a Mike Brown level, I've got good guys, but I bring them up to their highest potential with what we do. You know what I mean? I feel like that's never been the case with some people.
Yeah.
But then there's also some coaches where their only job, Steve Nash was a very much manage these people. And
he didn't really do that well.
I'm not saying he did a good job. I'm just saying that there's coaches that just do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ones that are all-timers are guys that do both. They get these crazy high-level talents and then manage everybody.
Popovich.
Phil Jackson, Popovich, Kerr, kind
Pat
of.
Riley, for sure.
Yes. So there's guys that can do that. But
yeah. So I also, Joe Mazzulla, the bench there could help out with all the new assistant coaches that they hired on.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, so Sam Cassell, Charles Lee, and Jeff Van Gundy. Apparently, I don't know if he's a full-time one, but he's either an advisor or he's on the staff as the assistant.
I feel like he was on the staff.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. It's also because last year was so abrupt in having to promote him to head coach, and they just had the same bench of a bunch of young, unexperienced assistants.
Senior consultant of basketball operations.
Oh, so consultant
is Van Gundy's title.
So he's like what Steve Nash was with the Warriors.
So he'll be around, and I think that'll also be good for consistency.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that will help out there, I think. Rick Carlisle, I think, is a pretty good candidate for Coach of the Year if the Pacers are, just come out blazing. Nick Nurse, maybe. If Philly just plays really well this season, if there's a lot of changes there. Taylor Jenkins' case, I guess I could see if the Grizzlies are just like still really good without Ja. First 25 games of the season, if they're just rolling, Taylor Jenkins you could see get in there. I think one of the best sleeper picks here is Quinn Snyder, honestly, being plus 2,000. Because if the Hawks are able to put some things together, like if Quinn Snyder does make the impact that I think he could have on the Hawks, and that team actually melds together well, and they rattle off some wins, get up there to like the 46, 47 range even, I think he could be a pretty good candidate.
Where's Chris Finch at?
Minnesota?
No. Odds.
Oh, yeah.
I'm aware he's in Minnesota.
Sorry. I don't know why I didn't think of that as the question. He's also at plus 2,000.
I like that one a little bit. I feel like there's not very many bad coaches. There's just unproven ones, which is a good place to be at.
Yeah.
Also, another reason why the NBA is primed for expansion.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I'm going to go Missoula. I'm just going to stick with my guy.
Okay, that's fair. And I'll go with Mark Daigneault then, since he's available. I think he'll probably be the coach of the year, honestly. Most likely. Last place is Wes Unseld Jr. with the Washington Wizards.
Probably because his team's terrible.
Yeah. Billy Donovan is second to last. And Mike Brown is actually really close to last. Probably just because...
I feel like he just can't do better than he did last year.
Which is, for some reason, the way the coach of the year works. It's like the first time of something happening. It's like if you were just as good of a coach as you were last year, that you're like not even close to as good of a candidate. For some, it's like
it's the guys that like have the big jump that always.
It's almost like most improved player for coaches,
or like most unexpected player.
Yeah, because for some reason,
unexpected is the wrong word.
We're like, we're the way we do it is like, this roster should probably do this, and then if they overachieve that by a lot, then that's what the coach of the year race is. Is if the team is way better than the roster people thought the roster should be.
And especially if it's very clearly coaching and scheme. If it's not just like, we didn't think that.
I mean, it sometimes is just that, though. That's like the whole case.
Oh.
You know what I mean? People just don't, because you don't know all the ins and outs of like why, So,
yeah.
So sometimes people are just like, it's got to be coaching. And then they give it to the coach.
Yeah, but sometimes it's like very clearly a player's just better than they were.
Yeah, that too. For sure. Like part of the Jazz thing last year. But Will Hardy was also a good he was top 3, I think, last year for Coach of the Year. But yeah, I think that will do it for this episode of the Hoop Theory podcast. This was the LeBron episode. Finally got an episode. He didn't get 23 or 6 because of the other guys that have won those numbers. I did
not think about that. This is the first LeBron episode.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we say we were going to give him, was it 123? Like, once we get up to those crazy numbers?
I think we might have said something like that.
We were just going to, soft start over. Mm-hmm. And that'd be good because we have a person for 100, obviously. Wilt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did we use Wilt for 13?
We did, but you've used
done 2.
Kobe twice.
We've doubled up a couple times. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think just once. No, there might have been another one. Yeah, but Kobe for sure though was twice.
A double
for 8 and 24. But yeah, so anyways, this will be the end of today's episode. Please subscribe if you're on YouTube. Please support the show by checking us out on Patreon, patreon.com/hooptheory. Buy me a coffee /hooptheory also. Both of the links of those should be in the show description and the episode description, wherever you're listening to this. And then also check us out on the social media platforms for the shorts, uploading daily there. And without further ado, I guess, stay happy, stay healthy, and we will talk to you guys next episode.
Peace.